I have a hole in my van.
Welcome back to the camper van build. So in this video, windows. I'm going to put the windows in. So far I've had no leaks in the roof, which is a success. First thing I've got to do is I've got to work out where they're going to go, but more importantly than that, I've got to build a wooden frame for the inside. So I'm going to go into the garage, talk a little bit more about that, because it's a little bit tricky, this wooden frame. So I use my bandsaw to make a wooden frame to hold the window from the inside. So this is the window. Oh, it's a Dometic S7P window, and what's special about this window is it's curved. So it's slightly curved to fit a curved van. I had to work out the curvature of a van just to be 100% sure that it'd be the right curvature, because it doesn't actually on the windows say what vans it fits to. So I used ChatGPT. I worked out, I put a ruler against my van, worked out the difference at the top and bottom, the length of the ruler, put all those figures into ChatGPT, and it worked out the radius, which was, I think the radius was 500 centimeters. Yeah, so it was 5 meters, which was pretty much the same. So that's good. So that's going to fit to there. What I need to do is you can see this little clamp here. Basically, this is going to go on the inside of my van, and I'm going to clamp this too, so it pulls it tight to the hole that I cut in the van. It's all going to go well this time. So I'm going to cut a hole in the van, and I'm going to clamp it to this internal structure. Now the blind, I've got to sort of figure out whether I want this on the inside, like really close to this window, which is probably going to be the preferred option, and then I'll have to work out how to fit the wall to this, or I have it on the outside and have a big gap between this and the window that I then have to put a wooden structure in. Tricky both ways, but I don't have to work that out just yet. So first thing to do is cut out a template for this window. I'm gonna get this bad boy. Should work. It's tricky because I can't tricky. How am I going to do that? Right, this is hard because I can't get my pen in. It'll go at a funny angle. So I think what I'm going to do, I know the radius of these corners, I think the diameter is 160 millimeters. So I could just do 2 straight lines at the right size, just parallel lines, and then draw. Yeah, I'll figure it. That seems to be a common theme building a camper van. I spend way too long measuring and drawing out this template. Right, just need to cut this out now. I think what I'm going to do is, I don't think these are going to cut a very clean cut, so I'm going to use a Stanley knife instead. Right, well I could try this on here, and it seems to fit pretty snug. I think that's probably okay. I mean, there's a little bit of room for error, a little bit, not much. Just need to cut out around this. Right, I've got a template. I'm not 100% sure about the edges, but I think it'll be pretty good. So, just need to go and trace that around the van now. Right, so, got my frame. Looks pretty good actually. So this is going to go here. This is where one of the windows is going to be a window like this opposite. Basically, I can cut out these struts, but don't really want to cut out this and this. So I've not got much leeway to put this in. There's only a little bit, but if I want to see what it looks like on the outside. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole through the middle here. So I've got a reference point for the outside. And then we can have a look at what the window is going to look like on the outside and check that positioning maybe in that direction as well, which will be helpful. The plan is to get it level here. The lines are all over the place. I can't use an actual level because the van's not on a level, but I can use a laser level, because with a laser level, I know that this line is at 90 degrees to this line. And with the laser level, I can just move it off level, and then it then basically goes away from being a level and just allows me to do a 90 degree. So now I've lined up the laser light here with this line roughly, because this is a little bit of a curve, but it's parallel with this line, and I'm going to draw a line at 90 degrees in that direction. The plan is that then I can use the laser level to get lines higher up as well where the window's going to be, because I want it to be, you know, square. Probably going overboard, but I think they should work. So decided the cardboard template wasn't good, made a wooden one instead, and the lasers created a vertical line that's parallel with this, which is the key thing. So I'm going to now draw a 90-degree line to that, and then I can line my template up, which is exactly 961 by 451 millimeters. Draw around that, cut a hole, and boom, we've got a window. Right, I'm going to do it. First hole in the side of the van. X marks the spot. Level on this door is just something that doesn't exist. So I've got it as close as I think I can to what looks level to the eye, because I think that's more important than saying getting it level to one of these lines. Mainly that top line I've tried to make it parallel to. Cool, blimey, that was difficult. Right, gone round it. And then, whoa, boom. Right, I'm doing the template for the back windows now. I've got two windows, one here and one here. So I want to draw out all the lines that I'm going to cut for the windows, just putting off cutting the windows. So this is a template for the cutout, and there's going to be curved edges, but I'm going to do that with a drill. I came up with a really good idea. I don't know whether anybody's ever done this. I haven't seen it before, but basically I've drilled a hole here roughly, or pretty much, not say roughly, almost exactly where I want it to be on the inside. But I know that there probably is a little bit of movement that way, because obviously I want to make it look right from the outside. So what I've done is I put my drill bit through here like this, and then I just connect it to this like this. And now I can really easily just mess around with the positioning and sort of stand back. And when I'm happy with it, I can put some tape on it and draw around it. It just makes it really easy to reposition it, knowing that I'm not moving it up and down or left and right. So I'm pretty chuffed with that. I think that's a really good idea. Right, so the genius of this is that we've got a hole here which connects the outdoors and the indoors. And I want to push this that way, because on the outside, the two windows, when I put them together, I want the gap in the middle to match the gap at the end, or as close as I can. So we need to move this window this way, this window this way. But when I move this window this way, it's getting up against this framework here. So I've got to measure that. So I know where the middle of this is because I've marked it. So I can just hold that up against where the hole is, and then measure that distance, which is, I can probably go 3.5 centimeters that way, I'd say. Yeah, maybe 3.25 centimeters, 3.25, that is. So let's go to the outside. This one, I'm going to move forward 4 centimeters that way, and this one, as I just spoken there, a little bit over 3 centimeters that way. So to do that, all I'm going to do is on this here, I'm going to mark 4 centimeters, drill a hole there, just in the cardboard, and put that in. And on this one, I am going to move it just a bit less than 3.5, I think. And I'm going to do it that way. So mark there, and that one will move that way, that will move that way. This gap will get smaller. Boom, bash, boo. I think I've got the windows in place now. It's about to rain, so I've got to mark them as quickly as possible before taking them down. I think they're all good. And then cutting out time. So I've not made much progress on the windows in the last few days because it's rained and I didn't have the right clips for the inside, but we're nearly there now. So the first thing to do before I cut from the outside is cut these braces off. The way I'm going to do that is with my oscillating saw, because it'll just go through here like butter, I think. But I don't want to go through the outside panel. That would be very bad. So I'm just going to tape on a stick underneath where I'm cutting, just to stop me you know, just going through the outside, just being super safe. So do that, cut through it. What can go wrong? Glasses. Iron filings just seem to get everywhere. So I persuaded my wife, as Rick wasn't here, to help me vacuum them as I was cutting. Success, apart from one where I just went through the wood a little bit. It didn't come out, but I've just got to investigate that in a minute. But before I do that, and wait around, because before too long I'm going to be cutting the outside of the windows. Oh, but I should just about to pull this off. It's just stuck with a bit of glue. I should just pull off, he says. So I made a bit of a mistake here, because I really shouldn't have pulled so hard on the panel and actually creased it a little bit. I think I got away with it, but when we put the window on, we'll see. Yep, it's coming. Oh, there we go. There we go. And then I should just be able to get this off with like just a scraper. Just need to take these two off. There we go. We're there. I've marked all the windows out. I'm ready to cut. So the next thing is I'm just gonna tape around here. I just want to catch the iron filings as well, so I might try and just sort of just tape some cardboard to it as well, just to stop the iron filings going on the van. The other problem I've got though is that there's rain in the air, and I really don't want to do this when it's raining. I've got a cover that goes over my garage entrance, so I'm going to try and back my van up a little bit closer. That's not as easy said and done though. So I'm going to just do some corners around here, because it's slightly bent in the corner, so I might as well do an accurate cut. I don't want to do this with my jigsaw, so I'm going to drill this with a hole, and it'll also give me a place for my jigsaw to start as well, so I can just do straight lines. So I'm going to pilot hole these first. So I'm just going to drill a hole through here. I've taped some cardboard on the inside as well, just to make it, you know, clean, so I don't have to tidy up all these iron filings. This is scary. I think the key thing here as well is just to make sure that I don't put too much pressure on and bend the metal, because it is, at the moment, it's not reinforced at the back. There we go. Right, now just make some bigger holes. Got an idea. I'm going to get somebody to hold the wooden template I've got on the inside, so that I've got a little bit of something more to push against, because this is quite a point source and I don't want to crease the van. That's my thought process anyway. My wife is kindly holding it, and I hope I'm not going to pierce her hand. That's so much better. That's such a good idea. That works so well. Having something behind it, good idea. Okay. Right, so it's the big moment, the first hole, well, big hole in the side of my van. I've got my little hook. Eyes. Yes! I have a hole in my van. Actually, I didn't do it like that. Oh, it's fallen completely out. Well, done it. Yes! Right, so what I have noticed is that, and I sort of knew this, there's a couple of problems here. So one is that this is going to hit this bit up here. I can't cut this out because I want to maintain the strength there. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to sort of, on my router, just route a bit of a channel here so that this sits flush, so it can clamp tight and give structure and rigidity to the window. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this out of my router and just chop a bit more of this out with my oscillating saw. I've got my table router here. built it for this exact issue, where I just want to cut out a little bit of a notch on a bit of wood. So I've marked that out, and I'm just going to put it through in several passes, and hopefully it'll then fit. I think that should be pretty good. It is. This is the big moment. I've got my Sikaflex 710, which is a butyl sealant. It doesn't go really hard, it stays sort of quite flexible. I haven't used this before, but I think it's pretty nasty stuff. So I am going to be a little bit careful. I've got to fill the void up in here, but I don't think I've got to put too much on, because otherwise I'm just going to get it everywhere. So I'm going to put this around here, then I'm going to put Sikaflex 522 on the internal frame, and then we're going to sandwich it all together. It's just going to work. All right, here goes. That's not coming out very fast. That's the weirdest stuff. Right, well that was a big disaster. Basically this, I don't think I had a big enough hole at the end of the tip, and it's basically broken the back of it, which seems so ridiculous to me. So all the gunk's gone in the gun, and the gun seized completely. So I'm going to try and take the gun to pieces. Oh my word, what a disaster. I was doing it and I was like, how has it run out? How can it possibly run out? Okay, so 2 hours later, taking this to bits, because this, it broke. I can only assume that I didn't cut enough off the end of this, so there was too much pressure from this, doing this, and it just put a hole in it, and then all that went into this, so I had to take this completely to pieces, strip it all down, all the cogs and everything. I've cleaned it all, it's taken 2 hours. I'm now back to doing the windows. Try again. Right, the plan is put the window in, goo's gonna go everywhere, I'm gonna squeeze it in, get it at the right angle. I think that looks good. Right, I just need to put this on, just like that. Then this right way around. Now I just need to not over tighten this. Well, I think that might have been one of the most stressful experiences ever. So I got there in the end, the window's in, the sealant hasn't come out, but I think that the sealant just stays inside, and that the outside seal creates the main seal really. I'm a little bit worried I didn't put enough sealant in, but I think it's going to be fine. So I'm going to cut out this window now. I've drilled the holes for it. I'm just going to jigsaw this out and basically just rinse and repeat for all the other windows. I think it's going to be fairly simple now, he says. What an absolute nightmare today's been. I've literally wasted so much time rebuilding one of my tools. Unbelievably, the second window went in without any drama. What's going on? Right, it's a day later. It was a stressful day yesterday. Nothing went right yesterday. But in the end, it was fairly easy, and I got them in, as you saw. It's rained really hard overnight. No water's got in. I didn't expect it to. They're all perfectly lined up. I'm actually super pleased with them. I'm dead proud of myself. So I'm now going on to the big window. I'm not going to bore you through all of that. You'll just see some B-roll, and I'll do a bit of a voiceover explaining all the things that I did wrong. I got this window in, and it all went pretty well. Then Rick came over for the final window. What could go wrong? Big moment. Does it fit? Please fit, please fit, please fit, please fit. Oh. It fits, looks good. It's a little bit higher than I thought on the inside. I'll show you in a second why that might be a little bit of a problem, but I think everything's fine. So basically what I've done is I've notched out this because it's tighter. I don't know how I measured it. I thought I checked on the inside, but it's a little bit higher than I wanted it to be. I knew I'd not have to notch out a little bit, but I've had to notch out quite a bit out of this. It's still got a lot of rigidity. So now this is going to fit in here like this. And then I've got brackets that sort of clamp into the window and pull it tight against the frame. It's tricky this, because I just don't think those brackets are going to be the right size, even though I've ordered the right ones. So I think what I'm going to have to do is maybe make my own brackets. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut off this super straight, because there's a few notches that are stopping me getting this frame up, and I'm better losing a little bit on here. These windows, these S7P windows, are curved to the curvature of the van, which is about a 5 metre radius. The problem is that I'm not going to have any pulling power. The outside will pull against this frame when I clamp it, but there's going to be a little bit of flexibility behind here. So what I need to do is I need to cut a bit of wood that's got a radius of 5 metres that I can then stick onto here so that this provides some support. What am I doing this on my camper van? Right, anyway, it's 5 metre radius, so I've done 5 metres. Pebbles has helped with the thing. I've got a bit of wood here that I'm going to cut on my bandsaw, so I just need to measure that out. So I'm just basically going to make sure that's 90 degrees there and just use the same amount of tension and just should be able to get a reasonably good curve. That's pretty good, I think.
I got this window in and it all went pretty well. Then Rick came over for the final window. What could go wrong?
The B-roll made it look easy, didn't it? But this window was not easy. I'm going to explain why. This goes here, and the frame and how to connect this, if you're ever thinking of using these Dometic S7P windows, oh my word, they're so difficult to fit. But I'm going to try and explain what I did. And Rick's here to help now. So you're going to help a lot, aren't you, Rick?
I'll try.
You'll try. I have actually lost. I've lost the window. Right, could be up here. Nope. Where do you think the window is? In my super tidy workshop. Oh, hey! That could be it. That can't be it, because that's like, well, this looks like it, but I don't see. Yeah, this is it. This one's got instructions. The other one didn't come with instructions. Right, I think before I drill the holes for this window, I'm just going to double check that it's in the right place from the inside and outside. So just going to make, I think it is, I've measured it all out before, but it's also very important to measure twice, cut once, as everybody said in last week's video. Thanks for the comments, by the way. Right, so just before I cut it out, I checked the measurement. Typically, I got it slightly wrong because the other window I made a little bit higher. So I need to move this up 3 centimetres, which is super easy to do. I can just move the template up 3 centimetres. Unfortunately, it means I've got to take off all the blue tape I put on. It's closer, that'll do. Right, so I'm just going to make that parallel with that because I knew that worked last time. Yeah, that looks spot on, I think. I'm going to triple check my measurements. So I'm just going to drill through on that old line, which is 3 centimetres below, and I'm going to measure up on the inside, add in 3 centimetres just to check I'm in the right spot. Right, I'm going to cut the holes here for my jigsaw. I've done some pilot holes. Rick's going to go on the inside. He's actually being helpful for once and put a wooden block the other side. I nearly drilled his hand before, so hopefully that won't happen.
So I managed to get this cut out pretty smoothly with Rick's help, and his finger only got caught once.
Oh my gosh, that was so scary. But I think that's the last big hole I've got to cut in my van. Yes, this is so heavy with the braces on it. Good. May cause drowsiness or dizziness, severe eye irritation, skin dryness, cracking. It's got a lot of hexes and ISOs, and it looks dangerous. It's double lidded.
As I was applying the primer outside, I thought to myself, I probably don't need a mask, and I lived to tell the tale.
Yeah, that's good. So these windows are curved, and when I did the other window, I created a wooden sort of insert to go in here so that it'll grab to the van. Otherwise, there's going to be a gap on my metal frame. So this frame goes on the inside, and when it's trying to pull towards it like that with the frame, it's going to create a little bit of a gap, and so it won't be able to pull tight. So what I've done is I have created these 3D inserts that are going to go in between the metal van and my frame, stick them on the frame, I think it'll work. On the other one I did a wooden one and it worked really well, but I just thought I might as well just create a 3D printed one because it'll be more accurate. This glue sticks instantly. So it's like got an activator and the actual glue itself, and you just sort of I'll dab it on and it'll spray the activator on here and it'll stick. Yep. I've glued the thing shut. Jesus Christ, that is strong glue. Okay.
Do you want me to do it?
No, I reckon I don't have to take it off. I reckon I can just put a pinhole. Do you want me to do it? Stuck. I've just realised where are they? I've lost them now. These I did as a 2.5 metre radius because I thought it was 5 metre diameter, but it's 5 metre radius, so that's why they're too thick. They're of a curvature of a, oh, Jesus. So basically, it would have worked if I'd have printed them, if I'd have designed them in my CAD program as a 5 metre radius, not a 2.5 metre radius. I'm such a dimwit. So do I reprint these, which means I can't put the window in? Nope, I'll just do some wooden ones. But it was a good idea, it would have worked. I'm mad about that.
And then things just got way worse.
So Dometic windows are rubbish. I've concluded. They're just not built very well. I mean, this has got like a mark on it here, but more importantly than that, there's 2 massive dints in it that I've just found, which means that it's not going to seal along this line against the ban. So I just can't put this window in, and I've now got a hole in. I should have checked it before. I did have a look at the window, but now I've got to replace this window and cover my hole in up somehow to stop water getting in, because it's going to rain every day for the next 6 days.
Then I found these windows were on back order from Dometic and could take 6 weeks. A hole for 6 weeks in my van.
Brilliant. See you in the next video.